Hey y'all, it's Lexi at Barb. I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to do a quick video to show y'all how to access your Blackboard page, how to post announcements, how to create content for your classes, and how to also schedule content for your classes so you don't have to remember to log in each week at a consistent time to post stuff for your students. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to open a web browser. I'm going to use Google Chrome for today. And the web address you're going to want to go to is blackboard.cpsb.org. You can go to the school board website and click through a whole bunch of different menus, but this is the easier way to do it. So I'm going to just type in my web address and hit enter. And you're going to need to type your CPSB username and password. Note that you do not need the @cpsb.org after your username. And your password is the same password that you use to log into your work computers. So when you log in, it's going to bring you to your dashboard. On the left, you have tools, announcements are going to be in the center, and your courses that you are enrolled in are going to be on the right. The courses where you are an instructor is going to be at the top, and courses where your student is going to be located underneath. I'm going to click on my course. If your course is not in your course list, you need to email Miss Pam Nicholson at the Tech Center and have her enable it for you, because you're not going to be able to post any content because technically your Blackboard does not exist. After you click your name, it's going to bring you to your Blackboard site. I have mine set to go to the announcements page by default. If you have yours set up a different way, that's fine. By default, edit mode is going to be turned on. If you would like to see what it looks like for your students, you can click it and it will show you what it looks like for your students whenever they log in. Notice all of my content areas on the left, a whole bunch disappeared whenever I clicked that edit mode off button. That's because I have most of them set to be hidden. I no longer use my classroom Twitter, so I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that one. I'm going to click on this little down arrow and click delete. It's going to ask, are you sure you want to delete it? I'm going to say yes. That way, it's less stuff cluttering up my bar over here to the left. So to create an announcement, which is what I did right off the bat, I posted it on Friday. I clicked create announcement. And you can type whichever title you choose right here. I'm going to call this one Video Example Announcement. You can select whichever color you'd like. I'm going to pick a random color. Down here is where you enter the body of your announcement. I like to link to where I want my students to go so there's no doubt as to where they should be going. I want to link to my Coronacation resources folder. So I'm going to type my name out. I'm going to go up here. I'm not going to left click. I'm going to right click. And I'm going to click copy link address. Then I'm going to select my text. Click insert edit link. And I'm going to paste it right here where it says link path. I want it to open in this window since it's going to be just navigating within my Blackboard page. However, if it's something that you would like to open in a new window, such as a video or a Google Voyage or a web address, a different web address, you can set it to open in a new window. But I'm going to leave open in the same window. Title is going to be for accessibility purposes so that when screen readers go through, it's going to read the title of the link. link to communication resources folder. I'm going to leave this class I'm going to leave it not set because it's a whole bunch of different stuff that I don't need to mess with. And after I click submit, that link will be active. If you want to schedule an announcement at a future date, you're going to want to enable this date restricted button. And it's going to allow you to set a date and a time for it to post. If you would like it to delete after a certain day or become unavailable to students after a certain day, you're also going to click this box and set that date as well. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to leave it to not date restricted. If you have your students enrolled in your Blackboard course, you can select this button and it will email your students saying that there's a new announcement on your Blackboard site. But I have mine open to guests so that parents can get on, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. I'm going to click submit. Notice new announcements pop up underneath old announcements. If you need to move it, you hover over your announcement. There's a cute little purple bar that pops up and you click and drag it to where you would like to go. Notice that my resource link does in fact work. I'm going to go ahead and delete this since I no longer need it. To do that, you click this little down arrow and choose delete. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. If you do not have a content area for your course located on this left side, you're going to need to hover over this little plus sign and choose Add Content Area. We're going to need to name it. And I want this available to users right now so that I don't have to remember to enable it later. I'm notorious for forgetting to go back and change things. Now we'll click submit. It brought it all the way down here to the bottom of my list, which is not where I want it to be. So I'm going to hover over this cute little arrow pops up. I'm going to hover over that arrow and drag it to where I would like it to be. It is gray over here, but notice it says this link has no content. So after I add content to this course, it will pop up. I'm going to click on my content area. Now, you got some decisions to make. Are you going to be attaching just a post with a web link? And some photos, or are you going to be attaching a PowerPoint, a Word document, a PDF, or some sort of file? Are you going to be posting a video? Are you going to just post an image and have them analyze the image? Or are you going to want them to actually just click on the title to access a link? So choose whichever one's applicable to you. I'm going to choose web link because I want to create a link to a Google Voyage for my students to be able to do. So you have to actually add the web link and a title. I happen to have my Google Voyage already popped up. I'm going to copy my web address. To do that, I click within the address bar up here at the top. If it's not all blue, you're going to need to press Control-A to select the entire web address, and then Control-C to copy. I'm going to go back to my Blackboard page. I'm going to title it Cherry Blossom Google Voyage. And where it says URL is where we're going to paste the web address. Now down here is where you're going to type your description. It can be as lengthy as you want. You can add photos, you can attach files, you can change the font and the font size, you can add bulleted lists. There's a whole slew of things that you can do. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to keep it short. Be kind of snarky about it. And I'm going to insert a picture for this as well. So I'm going to click the insert image button. browse my computer, and I happened to save a picture of cherry blossoms earlier this week. It takes a moment to load. Notice it says uploading here at the bottom. Now, these two boxes, image description and title, these are for accessibility reasons, so that whenever visually impaired students access your Blackboard page and use their screen reader, instead of them just looking at the photo, which may look blurry or they may not be able to see it all, it's going to read out the image description. For this one, I want a picture of cherry blossom trees. And for the title, it needs to describe what the picture is. So it's a cherry blossom photo. And I'm going to click Insert. And it's going to insert wherever my cursor is. I hit Enter twice, so it's underneath my description. When you scroll down, you have your attachment section. Here you can attach documents. So if I wanted students to answer some questions and that were on a PDF, I could attach that here. But for this video, I don't need to do that. Now, if you are having your students access a web link, you do want it to open in a new window. If it does not open in the same window, sometimes it will navigate them away from the Blackboard site, which is not what we want to do. We want to make this as simple as possible for students to be able to access. So I'm going to leave this checked. Down here under standard options, you have some options. If you want students to be able to access this content immediately, you're going to want to leave yes checked. If you're wanting to have it there but not schedule it to post quite yet, you can click no. But if you know for sure the date you want it to pop up, you're going to want to click this display after option. This is going to schedule your content to post at a certain date and time. Let's say I want this to post tomorrow morning, because what kid doesn't want to do schoolwork on the weekend? And I can also set it to be unavailable after a certain date. I like my content to stay up there all year. I clean it up at the end of the year, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. I also like to enable the track number of views option. This is going to show me how many students actually visit my content. It can be good if you're in a situation like we are now where we're out of school, so you can see how many students are actually engaged in your content. Now I'm going to click Submit. Notice it's grayed out. This means it's not live. It's not available for students right now. It tells me that the item is hidden from students. It will be available after April 4th at 7 a.m. And I do have statistics tracking enabled. Students are not going to be able to see any of this text whenever they do access these items. I'm going to navigate over to my real Coronacations resources folder to show you how you can move things around if you need to. You'll notice these purple bars whenever you hover over your actual content pieces. If I needed to drag this one above my museum tour, I can do that. But since I have this one set to post first, I'm going to go ahead and leave it on top. If your items that you post, if you need to make sure students click certain things, I highly recommend you do some screen captures and mark on them like I did here. This is a link to a museum tour. It works just like Google Street View, where you can go and you click the little orange man and then you drag him onto the map and you can navigate him all throughout a city without actually having to go. This museum tour works exactly the same way. I needed to make sure that students click the little yellow man on the right side of the page to bring it to Street View. So I created a screen capture and I made an arrow pointing to the little yellow man. And notice whenever I hover over the photo, it says, click the little yellow man. So it's just another layer of instructions for your students that may have trouble following them. I also did that one down here with this Google Voyage as well. They needed to be able to navigate back to the table of contents, and it's not very clear where to get to the table of contents within this Google Voyage. So I made an arrow to the little 3 dots showing them that that's how you get to that. If you need to create a screen capture, you can hover over this little pen icon that says Windows Ink Workspace. If you do not have Windows Ink Workspace enabled, all you need to do is right-click within your taskbar and make sure that there's a little check mark next to Show Windows Ink Workspace button. Whenever you click on it, it's going to give you a few options. I want a full screen snip because I want to highlight the fact that they can drag the little yellow man all throughout this picture. So full screen snip. It's going to bring up my snipped photo. I can crop it so that it's a bit less distracting for my kids. I'm going to crop out my bar at the top, and I'm going to crop out my taskbar at the bottom that has very distracting notifications. To save it, I'm going to click this little check mark up here at the top. And here's where I can make my markings. You have your item up there at the top. Apparently I accidentally clicked the share button. I want my pen to be yellow so that it's very attention grabbing. And I'm going to draw an arrow pointing to the little yellow man. If you want to change the width of your pen, you can do that as well with this slider. I tend not to draw very good circles, so I stick to straight lines on my screen snips. To save it, when I'm done, I'm going to click the save icon and name it an appropriate name, Cherry Blossom Screen Capture. And from there, you can embed it in your Blackboard post as you see fit. Another thing I recommend you do, since parents may be navigating to your Blackboard page, is to make sure that your contact information is up to date. So click on the content information area over here to the left and just review your information. Check and make sure your email address is correct. Check and make sure the phone number is for the school that you currently work at. Make sure your room number is there. And I typed a little bio here. You can leave that blank if you'd like to. It's just good to have that there so that parents can get in touch with you if they need to. And again, this is what it looks like with the student with the edit view turned off. So this is what your page is going to look like to students. I hope that clears up some questions on how to schedule and post content for your Blackboard page. If you have any questions, please email me at lexi.griggs@cpsb.org, or if you're a Barb teacher, you can contact me through Teams. You can go in the general chat and type at Lexi Griggs. It won't pop up because I can't tag myself, but if you start typing my name after the @ symbol, I will pop up and it'll give me a notification showing that you got in touch with me. I'm going to show you an example. So notice that for me, there's these little @ symbols. This shows that I was mentioned by Miss White at Barb, and this allows me to get notifications to know that I need to touch base with you about whatever you need help with. So if you're at Barb, Teams is a great way to get in touch with me. Cell phone, if you have it, you can text me. I prefer if you email me, but if you're at another school, please just email me and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you so much, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day.